Okay, we are live. Let me give everybody a little bit of time to come in to this one. Come on, everybody come along. We got a lot to cover right now. I was telling y'all some of this stuff here, but now we can see it. All right, this is going to have to go back to something I said a long time ago, and I guess it's still applying. Bad habits do, even when you do make changes, bad habits do come back. They are very hard to change. Change is very hard. I would know, especially when I do, day trading and all of those things, and I got some bad habits that I could fix, right? We're going to see something real quick. I'm going to give everybody a chance to come in. While you guys are coming in, okay, while you guys are coming in, you are listening to Nick, your host, from Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes, performances, and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And I got to say, this got to be the otherwise right here. Would y'all agree that this is one of those things that are head and shoulders above the rest? Because yeah. Now let me see if I can hear myself. Let's see. First, we got a little ad that's coming through on myself. And then we're going to see. Everything seems to be okay. Okay, everything seems to be okay. I can hear myself. Yeah. Now, when it comes down here, Noah Lyles came through and did what he needed to do. I know there's going to be some people that come in. It's usually about 10 minutes in, so we're going to talk about some basic things here. Then I'm going to kind of repeat it once. Okay, we're going to repeat it once. We got some people saying Noah Lyles is toast. Oh, yeah. Somebody asked me to cover Bojack versus somebody else. I'm like, did y'all do the wrong comment somewhere? Because it keeps popping up, and then it's like deleted. I'm like, we got some DBZ people up on here. But I was like, well, Kishane might beat Bojack. Depends on the comparison that we're having here. But yeah, let me see y'all comments while everybody's flooding in. If you're coming in, tell me who you rooting for and everything like that. They say Jamaica 1-2 by Black Kid. Kevin Brown said Noah Lyles is toast just like I said with a laugh emoji. Hey, maybe he is. Robert Parker said precisely. Legendary Super Saiyan Jackson said Noah needs a start straight out of hell for the finals. That's what he needed last year. And he came through, so we're going to see. Maisha Ford said the final is stacked. I am so excited. Noah has to jump out on him. If Seville and Kishane get out, he won't run them down. Oh, that was you? That's what I thought. Hey, you was asking me to cover Bojack and something. It's like you deleted the comment so I couldn't see it. Who you trying to have me cover Bojack and who? Bojack versus who? Anyway, let me go ahead and start covering this. I know other people will come in later. Smash that like button and share. That helps us in the algorithm. We're going to be doing this. And we're going to talk about the business of sport right now. This right here, I got to say, this is putting Jamaica back on the map. As far as tourism, as far as business opportunities and connections right there. Because you had something where it was just Usain Bolt. If you can get another 1-2 in a Kishane and oblique, you're going to see that start to bring in more business and more investment money. We got to talk about the business of sport. We're going to blend those things together. But right now, let's go here. Semi-final number 1. Let me see if it's on the screen for you guys. Yes. Right here, plus 0.7 meters per second, tailwind. Something is telling me this track right here isn't necessarily a, quote, fast track. I haven't been seeing it from the performances or anything average, whether it's the Paralympics, whether it is the regular Olympics or anything like that. I'm not seeing extremely quick times. There's a couple of people that are doing fast, but overall, either it's that or the weather. It's at sea level more or less, so maybe it's that. Maybe the track itself is fast, but then maybe it is whatever, jet lag and everything else, because the women's 100-meter final with barely any wind and it was a wet track and everything like that, still 1072, and that was a negative, if I'm not mistaken, slight negative wind. So there you go. Oblique Seville, he came through, he did a 981. I'm going to tell you right now, I believe he's going to have to do a personal best in order to clinch this. For sure, silver. Because if he doesn't do a personal best, Noah Lyles might get him. He might get him. He might not even medal, depending on how some of this plays out in the final. Remember, Tobago is a fat freaking danger. Okay, Tobago's a danger, but I'll get into that in a second. Let me just cover where everybody finished right here. Oblique Seville did what he needed to do. He got out. Noah Lyles was playing catch up. He was like third or fourth. Actually, he was fourth. Then he slid in the third, slid in the second, and then he was looking forward. And I'm like, I think he slightly looked to the side, but he really didn't look to the side. He was more so concentrated. He was like, look, I got to work on my form stuff. I may or may not be giving my all, because he didn't, that heat, like I said, Hinchliffe and everything like that, he would have had to run above himself, okay? He would have had to run above himself to make it through. I don't know why people were saying he wasn't going to make it. It's just y'all hating on Noah Lyles. We got a lot of those people, a lot of bots and stuff like that. Whatever, right? They said, let me read some of the comments. Oblique Thompson Sabine. Anything to say Noah Lyles ain't in there. I can't see him not being able to get something in here. Jackson said, I swear I was on a whole nother video while that comment was sending, and it sent to your stream. I clicked on your notification. It was BoJack versus Deborah on the DBZ channel. Oh yeah, that's happened to me a couple times. If you got autoplay on and you're making a comment, it'll still have you in the comment, and you'll press enter. It'll put it on another video. I've done it a couple times. People are like, what the heck did you just say? I didn't even notice I had left it. They aren't charismatic enough. You saying had personality. Maisha, you know what? I'm glad you said it, because I say this a lot. A lot of the people are like, Noah Lyles talks too much. Sha'Carri talks too much. All these people. Yeah, you got to have personality. You're not always going to win, but the personality attracts the big bucks. Personality attracts the business. Personality gets people to want to be like you. That is why typically Black Americans have been looked up as the envy of the planet, not because other Black people are not also doing their thing, but it's because of the personality and the attitude and the, yeah, I can do this and I'll make it and I'll get it from the mud type of thing. It's a lot of confidence. You even see that as a slight subject change, only 20 seconds, I promise. Julius Malema was like, yo, a white man down in South Africa is holding his head up even though he's broke as hell because he has control of the land. Whereas you have your head down, even though you got a job, he doesn't have a job, but he gets to go home at night because he owns the land, he owns the house, and you don't. And you guys got to start having confidence. He was telling that to them. So when you got the confidence, when you got the swag and you coming around, that attracts people, not just winning. Winning isn't enough. If winning was enough, then field events would be higher ranked. Then the shot puts, the hammer throw, the woman that had retired at the last Olympics, she was a 5-time Olympic gold medalist. And yet, I bet you y'all can't even name her in the hammer throw. 4-time Olympic gold medalist, and then like a bronze or silver. She showed up to 5 Olympic games. She won almost every world championships and Olympics that she showed up to from the start. It was like she got a bronze, then after that, it's like gold, 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 gold. Everything, but y'all can't name her. Winning is not enough. You gotta have the action, the personality, and that attracts the people. So there you go. Now, put in here, they said, since I clicked, Sabine isn't finishing over Lyles. Yeah, he's not. Let me read some more of the comments. Have you heard about the 100 women's final not having proper warm-up? No, I didn't hear that, but that could, if that's the case, man, these people in Paris, y'all load of BS. But since I have not heard that and I can't confirm that, let me look this up in the background on another tab so I can see that. But yeah, naturally charismatic. Who you got winning the final? I'm gonna get into that in a second. I'm just letting people roll in, and it rubs folks the wrong way. The field are so chill too. Where can I stream? Melvin Cross said, are you saying watch the stream? Peacock and NBC, I guess. Noah Lyles will win in the final, and exactly. Anita. Oh, actually, yeah. Well, we got one person that would know who that is. I'm not even going to pronounce her last name. I always got it wrong. I pronounce it right once and then get it wrong 3 times. So, yeah. So, the woman in the hammer throw, y'all, like, we got one person, Anita, coming here, Anita V, saying her name. And, yeah, but nobody knows who she is. So, she can't be called the greatest of all time because nobody knows who it is. It's part of popularity. So, anyway, let's get here. Heat number 1. Oblique Seville comes through. He got out on Noah Lyles. Noah Lyles played catch up. That's the usual thing. And people were saying, oh, he's got a cakewalk. Matter of fact, when you look at this, that was technically the fastest two people together. Then you got a Kishane and Fred Curly, where they were just slightly Kishane being faster and Curly being a little slower. They averaged to the same time. So that was not a cakewalk for Noah. He wanted to make sure he's coming through, and he had to test himself up against Oblique Seville. This ain't about just, oh, all these other people. He did it. He did what he needed to do. Now we get to heat number 2. Then I'm going to average them all together and everything like that. No wind at all. So we got Connie Simbine. Now, let me say this real quick. Where we at? Where am I at? Make sure I get this out of the way. A lot of people were saying I said Amanyala wrong and it's Omanyala and everything like that. Well, your man's then finished in 8th place. Let me address that real quick. Ferdinand finished in 8th place. He has a tendency of messing up at the wrong time. I was actually starting to have some confidence in him because he changed up the way that he does his energy distribution in his races. But this is actually a common thing with him for some reason. Now, the last Olympics, technically, they had that visa issue or something like that, and that's what really got him, or was that the World Championship? They kind of messed him up there. But he's not really timing himself good at all. He's kind of reminded me of an Asafa Powell, except without the world records and the complete dominance. Like, the intimidating body feature, built like a bulldog, coming down the track, barreling down, and he can put in the work on people when the time is right, as he won the Diamond League Championships over Noah Lyles, remember? Okay, so he got the Diamond League Championships, which is his own league, that he's a champion of that, but he couldn't get the World Championships. He cannot get these timing right. It's something up in there in his preparation that he has to do better, because he was out the gate starting bad. He was backwards already. Then he started leaning forward real bad. And I'm like, yeah, it's about a wrap. And he already probably knew it. He probably tried to stay calm. Once it got up to about 40, 50 meters, he was like, yeah, it's over. I'm going to try to do as best I can. I don't know what I can do to hold on, but I'm going to do the best I can to hold on to this. This man does not perform at the right time. He got the potential to go into the finals and to get a medal, but he isn't able to do it. Time-wise, he's all right. He checks out, but he's just not able to do it. So let's go back to the results page. Let's go back to this results page. All right. Now, getting back to heat number 2, we got Akani Simbine from South Africa. Actually, I thought Bednarik was going to do a little bit better. I'm slightly surprised by Akeem Blake not doing something a little bit more damaging, in all honesty. But Jacob seemed to be okay. Bednarik was real. He was cursing himself out. The camera was on him. They wasn't blocking out anything right there. We couldn't hear him. But he's like, man, the F, this, that. He was upset, and Jacobs was over there. He was kind of happy. He's like, yes, I'm in the circle, the bubble. So for him not even making the finals last year, he's like, look, at least I'm in the bubble. Because last year I was just flat out, just shut out. Now I got a chance. Our time was relatively quick. I don't see that many people getting in front of us. So Jacobs was like, man, I'm good. I'm in the final. Who knows? If Jacobs, hey, let me ask the crowd why they here. If Jacobs comes by and gets a gold, are y'all gonna suspect him? Because y'all was suspecting him the last time. Y'all was like, he won gold and he disappeared. Let me get a answer here. I was gonna do a poll, but let me see it in the comment section. If Marcel Jacobs comes by and he wins the gold in the final, are y'all gonna start looking at him side eye? Because the way I'm gonna look at it is, I'm just gonna look at him like Elaine. Elaine, in between those years, she just was like double 100, 200 champ. But outside of that, you can't really rely on her too much. Not in the open. So I would look at it like that. But he could be like McLuffy, like the Algerian dude, if that happens, where the dude was winning the 1500, disappeared, win, and then you find out he was using something. What y'all gonna do? Because I know y'all like to slander people, so tell me ahead of time. Now, Tobogo, he did what he needed to do. I didn't really see him put in too much effort. I think he just went through the motions. I didn't see much from him, so he's hiding a lot. You know, in my honest opinion, he's hiding a lot. He's gonna be a danger in the final. Now, when it comes to Kenny Bednarek, I gotta lower him on the standard from where I saw him before. He's not looking too hot as far as that. We're gonna see the Heat lane assignments in just a second. Now let's get to Kishane and Curly. Kishane just got out. I say he probably gave it to about 80 meters and then kind of stopped. That's from my eye, maybe in the 70 something, but I don't think he stopped at 60 meters. That's a little bit unrealistic. Also, if he's in a, let's say 9-6 shape, he probably was just giving it like 90% until 80 meters. He could have been doing that because I could tell that he was kind of sort of holding back. But when they're running with good form like this, it's kind of hard between telling somebody's holding back and that somebody that is actually pushing really hard and they're giving nearly everything, but then they're easing up afterward. But all I know is around 80 meters, he was about done. He started looking around. Curly pushed through further. Curly looked a little bit more panicked in his running. Would y'all agree with that when y'all saw this? He looked a little bit more panicked in his running as far as he had more urgency. Not that he was panicking, but he had more urgency when he was doing stride after stride after stride. That's the way it looked to me. Not that he necessarily panicked, okay? Oh yeah, and congratulations to Hakim Sonny Brown. He got a personal best for Japan. And Andre DeGrasse, like I said, DeGrasse and Hughes already said it. They're going to be casualties. And there you go. It matched out that way. I was a little bit taken off by a Manula a little bit. I got to be honest right here, but that's how it is. Let me see. Given that Lyles has under 0.14 reaction, he still need to finish better than his London shape or else he may lose. Gonna start calling him Fraudinand. Fraudinand? That's funny. Let me see. Streamius is just a collection of words I put together. Both Kishane and Seville did look around before shutting down the semis. Yeah, okay. Now let's look at these lane assignments. But Fred Curly, I'm gonna upgrade him a little bit. This is gonna be very interesting depending on the lane assignments. Let's look at these lane assignments. Because Curly was looking good too. I don't think he's necessarily looking 100% there for winning, but here we go. Oh, wow. Very, very interesting. I need a moment to take this one in. So here it is, lane 2. Kenny Bednarek. That makes sense because he was the last one to come in. And then Jacobs on lane 9. They usually put the slowest people. If this were on the oval, it would be 9 and 2. Since they're using 9 lanes, it would be 8 and 1 actually, but 9 and 2. So Kenny Bednarek in lane 2. Jacobs in lane 9. Then we got Curly in lane 3. Tobogo is next to Lyles there in lane 8. And then Lyles in lane 7. Then we got Seville in lane 6. Sabine in 5. Thompson in 4. You know what? This is very interesting. Lyles being away from Thompson, but next to Seville, who has now finished in front of him twice. He's finished in front of him twice. Lyles has to get his focus together because what's going to happen is, this is what I think is going to happen. It's going to look like a Jamaica 1-2 at this point. Depending on Tobogo. Tobogo is going to, you know, potentially do something. Curly may do something. He's right next to Kishane. So here's how this would go. I got to block lane 2. Remember how I said matchups and personalities do things to each other. This year, Seville has beaten Lyles, but that was a while ago. Okay? But then he also had a fresh win against him. It depends on how much effort Lyles was putting. Because it looked like Lyles could have put more. I mean, he could have... It looked like both of them were holding back. Lyles had to try a little bit just to catch up. When somebody's playing catch up, that's what I want to say to you guys. When somebody's playing catch up, think Tyson Gay or something. It will look like the person is trying harder than what they actually are when they just have bad starts. But it eventually catches up to people if you cannot get that start down and somebody else just takes off and they flies. That's what happened to Sha'Carri. That's what happened to Alfred. Okay? That's what happened to Julian Alfred. Now, right here, I got to say Oblique Seville, Lyles and Oblique Seville would be essentially racing each other. He got Tobogo, which is going to be a good start against him. But if it were to be Tobogo out of it, it's going to be Seville dragging Noah Lyles back. Kishane running his own race against Fred Curley on the other side. Simbine is going to be a casualty on the inside. If he comes through and ekes with the medal, I'm going to congratulate his ass because I'm counting them out. I'm writing them off right now. I'm just letting y'all know. I don't really see Simbine getting a medal. But if he does, that's going to be a shout out to Kumo and all of South Africa, right? But when it comes here, it's going to be a race. You got basically two different races going through. You got Tobogo, Lyles, and Seville racing each other. And then you got Thompson and Curley racing each other. Bednarik, Simbine, and Jacobs, I don't know anything about it, but how they looked in the semi, they're not going to come by and get this win. They're not going to come by and be in a race. It's kind of going to be either a dead heat for basically everybody except for first and second, or it's going to be the dead heat for first and second. Now, here's my overall take. I'm still trying to get this one in here because Curley looked decent, but not all the way there. I don't think Noah Lyles is in the ability range right now to beat Kishane Thompson. I've said this kind of before. I don't think he doesn't have that ability. If Kishane is able, if he doesn't mess up in his races and he don't spaz out, remember, finals at a big stage affects people's mentally. Kishane has the actual speed there. Think Sha'Carri for a second. Think Amanyala. Think Asafa Powell. He has the speed, but this is now the final. And I'm telling y'all, I didn't think this thing affected me till I got to this thing called Academy Decathlon. You got this thing called Super Quiz, and you're standing in front of a stage with dim lights, all the cameras on you, and you got a crowd of a few hundred or a few thousand people, and they ask you, hey, what's 2 + 2? And then you got 7 seconds to answer, and you go blank. It's like the most simple thing. They're like, hey, can you spell onomatopoeia? You got 7 seconds to do it. Can you do this multiplication division problem? Oh, how many how many stomachs does a cow have? Something that you would know, that you study for, because it's all in study material. But then you're in front of them. Or you get there and you're at a state championship meet and you didn't think that it was going to be there, or a conference title. Those types of things affect people. If Kishane gets affected by that, that's going to slow him down a little bit. All right? That if that slows him down a little bit, that now increases Noah Lyles' chance of being able to take him, as well as Oblique Seville. Seville isn't that far back away from Thompson that I could write him off from not winning. This is actually, depending on how he handles the final. Seville has been in the final now twice, right? He's finished 4th place. He's hungry. Like I said, that type of person, like a Talu, if you're always 4th, and you always there, you show up. When he shows up, he makes a final. That means at some point he's getting a medal. And if he does it and times it right, he can get a win. All right. So this is going to depend on how Thompson faces the pressure. He is the favorite coming in. Noah Lyles, Oblique Seville, and Tobogo. Those are the next best people there. Fred Curley is going to be a wild card for me. I think he either gets bronze or he doesn't get a medal. I want to say that if he gets bronze, that means he's obviously knocking out Lyles. I don't see 2 Americans getting a medal here. It's either going to be Jamaica, the U.S., and Botswana. That's the way I'm looking at it right now. It's hard for me to see 2 Jamaicans getting this one too. It's going to have to be a shutout. I'm telling y'all, this is hard to get silver right here. Silver is damn hard to get it. Kishane, gold. But depends on how he handles it. If he doesn't handle the pressure well, what's going to happen is, or he slips. There's a lot of that been going on. If he doesn't handle the pressure well, that's going to open the door for Lyles and Seville. I think they got the best chance of beating him. Tobogo is good for a medal. I don't see him good for a win. even with a slipped up Kishane. So I'm gonna say silver. Man, silver, I'm gonna have to give that one to Lyles. And I'm gonna say bronze, that's a toss-up. Toss-up. It's a three-way toss-up between Curly, Seville, and Tobago. It's either gonna be Jamaica 1-2. I think that's a high chance of that happening too. But I'm gonna put my name on it right here. It's gonna be Thompson with the win, Lyles in second, because he doesn't have a monstrous starter around him. He just got people that have good starts. That's good for him. If they finish in front of him, they're gonna drag him through. And just like a slingshot, just like Sha'Carri, that's gonna help him. That's what the matchup. If he was directly next to Thompson, which has a really good start actually, then I would say, you know what? He might actually be the... And remember, he said this about Ferdinand. He said that, oh yeah, you ain't far enough in front of me. If he got people like this to drag him around, Seville ain't gonna be that far. At worst case scenario, it's Jamaica 1-2 and Lyles gets bronze. That's still something that Lyles could be dragged through with. And then Tobago, I think Lyles still can beat Tobago no matter what. If Lyles doesn't get a medal, that's him messing up. Or the time's got to be faster than third place has to be 982 or faster. If Lyles doesn't get a medal, third place has to be like a 982. If it's a negative win, I'm going to give it a 984.5. But even in the conditions that we've been seeing, it's got to be like 982 or faster. Slowest 983, to be honest. And that's the only way that I think Lyles gets shut out. Because then that's right around his ability. I think he's in personal best shape. I think Noah Lyles is like a 9.7 high person right now. 9.78, 9.77, right? I think he's right there right now. If he gets his race pattern down, if he's able to finish through, he's 9 there. If he performs better than that, I'm going to give him a round of applause. So guys, that's where I see it right now. Let me read your comments. Let me see the comments because it's been frozen for a second and I don't know what's going on the screen. Kevin Brown said, I lost my mind that Oblique looks better than Thompson in the semi. Really? Really? I mean, I see what you're saying, actually. I see what you're saying, because Thompson actually, he has, like, same thing with Curly. Curly has very quick stride turnover, so it makes it look like he's working harder than maybe what he actually is, right? And that's why I said he looked like he was more urgent, but he didn't look like he was, like, panicking. He just looked more urgent. But that's also, I'm not used to seeing Curly in this type of thing where I'm looking at him from he's trying to get back. So I think I have a subconscious, I'm used to seeing other people with shorter, you know, slower stride lengths and longer strides, right? So I'm looking at Curly like, okay, I got to take that little bit of bias out as far as him and realize that he has just quick turnover. He's just a fast ass turnover dude. Same thing with Thompson. He has a kind of quick turnover. So there could be an illusion that he's working harder than he is. And I'm going to tell you, between the both of them, it is hard to look at and say that Thompson is just not looking as good as Oblique. So I'm just going to say that's my eye. I can see where people have the argument that Oblique Seville look better. Okay, let me pull up his picture right here. I can see where people are saying that he looks better than Thompson. I really do. And I would not be surprised that, like I said, if he gets the win, right? I wouldn't be surprised. But right now, from my take, I'm going to say Thompson looks better, but I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying between the two because they're kind of close. Man, I don't know what this is with the Olympic website. It make everybody look like they got gray hairs. Like, it's aging everybody up. Is it trying to make the old people feel young when we see like a 40-something-year-old or somebody like that in these pictures? I don't know what it is. But it's making them... Y'all see how it looks gray and white? But yeah. So, again, let me read some more of y'all comments here as I get here. Nobody touching nowhere near Usain Bolt's record here. I don't see necessarily going faster than a... Let me think about the time for a second. I haven't had time in my head, but it might be like a 9.7 Nah, actually, this one I'm not sure. But if I had to throw out a time and somebody forced me to, and I normally don't do those unless I'm like full confident, like I said with the women's race, I say 973. But I really don't want to do that. Let's see. Asafa, I feel, is an outlier. Elaine, Sharika, and Shelly are good mentally. Let's give Kishane a chance. They said, y'all said y'all worried about Thompson because you don't think Francis create mentally strong male athletes. They're not known to go faster in the finals. Just by stupid observation, Andre Johnson said. You know what? That kind of does match what his history has been so far because he has been doing better in with the women. But I think Asafa, I will agree with Kumo that Safa is an outlier. He said that from that very first time he had false started, that affected him for years before he got over it. It's just the pressure got to him. You said this is gonna throw off Noah. They said Noah gonna get the bronze. He's definitely nervous. You could see it in his face. Well, he was nervous last year, to be honest. He was nervous last year. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being nervous coming into these races. All the athletes have some kind of nervousness to them. Some of them, they real nervous, and you see it on them. But he was nervous last year because the 100 is not his strongest event. Now, he did a lot of talking, so he's going to have to deliver on the receipts. When I said Sha'Carri wrote checks because she cashed the checks and they bounced when she got last at Prefontaine, I roasted the hell out of her for a good 20, 30 minutes. Okay, cool. That was all fun and games right there. Now, is it going to be, if Jamaica don't get this win in this 100, I'm going to do a headline and I'm going to tell y'all, if Jamaica doesn't get the win in the 100, a lot of Jamaicans been doing a lot of talking. The athletes may not have been talking, but a lot of Jamaicans been doing a lot of talking. So we're going to have a headline that is equivalent to that. That's going to be fumbling the bag. Right now, Jamaica is the favorite coming in. Jamaica's the favorite coming in. Whether you thinking oblique, whether you're thinking Kishane, Jamaica's the favorite coming into this. Y'all say this is the fastest final since 2012 and second fastest. Has Lyles started the 100-meter race yet? Now, I'm going to come back after this starts. Let me see. What time does it start? What time does the final start? Oh, that starts in 47 minutes. So I will be back in about 1 hour when this final starts. I covered everything that I wanted to cover here, but we're going to cover the business of sport later on. I did it a little bit here, but like I said, this is a thing there. I like to talk about making money as well as business and everything here. So we are going to transition to, I keep saying going, and I've already done a couple videos with business already. But I just like to let everybody know when I have a slightly larger than normal size crowd that we will be talking about business stuff here because we break down people's Instagrams. This helps people on a personal level as well as the athletes, as well as the Masters people that want to get sponsored, because Masters athletes can get sponsored. People out there that have their own businesses can get local businesses to partner up with them. Hosted a track meet. Some of those track meets have brought in 20 and 30,000 ish dollars before you account for sponsorships and everything like that. Then there's other track meets, I've announced that, and they brought in hundreds of thousands. All right, some of these track meets bring in a lot, and that's just not including all of the money that brought into the hotels, not all the money that comes in with the concessions, not all the money that comes in with some of the sponsors. We just talking about just kind of the basic things there. So if you guys want to tune in for that, that's going to be after we cover the final. So I will catch you all later. And again, you've been listening to Nick, your host. And I'm going to read some comments before I go. Yes, there are Masters athletes that can be sponsored. Let me do this because I always feel like I'm about to go and then I read some comments and I'm like, dang, that was good to cover. So yes, Masters athletes can be sponsored. There are several Masters athletes right now that I know personally that are sponsored, and I'm trying to get my best friend to get sponsored and his whole training group at the Masters level, because he comes by and he, all right, cool, you can get a national indoor gold, you can come here and go outdoor, get some medals here, you can go on these relays and get some golds. Look, you can do this. Then we got a former Olympian from Jamaica that I've spoken to. He's on the Masters. He's setting records in the U.S. and I don't know if I should say this other part because he wants to keep some things there. That's private. The other's gonna be like, you talking too much, like Noah Lyles. But yes, it's a former Jamaican Olympian. He's representing or running for the USA and USA Nationals and everything now, right? And he's setting USATF records at the Masters level. Maybe some of y'all do know him. I spoke to him on the phone. I should probably call him and say, hey, can you come on later and go on his live stream with me? Maybe that. Maybe I get his opinion on how the field is. I forgot I was going to call him up and see if he wanted to co-host. I'm always okay with people coming in and co-hosting, even if it's an athlete that's there now. Somebody didn't make the team. They wanted to do it. If I could have got in touch with Kimba Nelson, which I didn't reach out to right now, I would have brought her on. Brianna Williams, anybody else, Clark from the U.S. I would bring on some people. I think I'm going to start doing that in the future. But yeah, Masters athletes can get sponsored. Regular people can get sponsored that are not, going out to doing races. So it's not dependent on that. With that being said, I will now catch you all on the next one. This is Nick, your host. And this is Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes, performances, and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. Catch you all in about 50 minutes. Peace.